you guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. It's a late one for this channel, but it's been a few days. I had to come on. There are several things I want to talk about. And yeah, I haven't seen you guys for a few days. So we're here now, and we're going to try to hang out at least for 45 minutes to an hour or so and try to get through some of these cases. And then at the end, I want to talk to you guys about like a community issue and update regarding someone in the community. So thank you guys for being here. I don't know if you guys were just over at Melissa's with us, but if you weren't, you should go watch the live that we just did on her channel. We're starting a new series going through all the things that while Casey Anthony is making her comeback on social media, she does not want you to see, in our opinion. But so we're going through the trial from start to finish, including even before the trial, the interrogations with police, phone calls with her family, all of that stuff. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, I wanted to keep going. That interview was getting intense. So anyways, hey hippie chick, hey pointer lover, hey preschool granny. Which part? Meryl, hey Grandma Sherry, hey Kimmy, hey Riley, neat. I think that's I'm already gonna start doubling up. Hey Nature Rocks, hey Justin, Bree, good to see you for Shiggle. So I know, you know, like I said, at the end, I want to talk to you about something involving a community member, but let's get through some of this stuff first. So what do I want to start with? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 things I want to talk about for certain. I think we'll start here. One of these is an update, but that will be 5 things, actually. That will be in just a moment. So let's start here. So True Crime News is a series I've done for a long time. It's not necessarily the most popular series on my channel. Like, I don't know how people feel about it, but I like to do it. I think that it's important. There are so many cases that we talk about all the time, whether it's, you know, Casey Anthony, Letitia, these big cases that get talked about all the time. And this is kind of focusing on the other cases that don't. And they can be the most infuriating. There's a lot of bad shit that goes on in this world, unfortunately. And I think that it's important to talk about it. I want to know what's going on out there. I think you guys want to know. So that's the reason for it. Lori, thank you for being a member for 25 months. Oh, really neat. Thank you. Well, one of them, actually, a case that you sent me, we're going to talk about, and Sprinkled Donut sent me the same one. So, yeah. Hey, Shauna. Hey, Queen Bella. Hey, everybody that I missed or didn't say hello to. Good to see you guys. I've missed you. It's been a few days, but we're back at it. I'm going to try to be on here more. But okay, so let's start here. I want to talk about this one just quickly and then get into an update and then some more unknown ones. So this is a neonatal ICU nurse who's been charged with 6 additional counts of abusing infants. So let me just read from the top. A former Virginia nurse charged with injuring a 5-month-old baby at the hospital where she worked was slapped Monday with several more charges. There is a theme. I like to say there's like these underlying themes with True Crime News, and one of those themes, like for instance, in the summer, there's a lot of hot car deaths, a lot more than you would realize. There's a lot of people in trusted positions that are hurting our kids, whether it's coaches, teachers, Sunday school teachers, preachers, nurses and doctors, you know, nurses on the bus working with kids who are disabled, you know, those kind of people. So a former nurse charged with injuring the 5-month-old was slapped Monday with more charges, 6 new charges, 2 counts of malicious wounding and 4 counts of child abuse and neglect relate to 2 additional babies. Aaron Trotman was charged with malicious wounding, child abuse, and neglect causing serious injury earlier this year after the Henrico Police Department launched an investigation into 7 cases of mysterious injuries to infants in Henrico Doctors Hospital's neonatal intensive care unit in 2023 and 2024. Can you imagine taking your anger out on little newborn babies, infants? I mean, some of them, many of them in the in the NICU, premature. The initial charges related to a baby who was found hurt in November. And investigators said they found surveillance video showing Stroutman mishandling the infant. In December, the hospital said it was looking into unexplained fractures found in 3 babies in late 2024 and 4 others in 2023. The hospital stopped accepting babies into its NICU as a result of the incidents. Henrico Commonwealth attorney Shannon Taylor said similar evidence has been uncovered in the new cases, not just video, but also other evidence. Without going into details of this case, however, one of the things we can look at is to see if there is a pattern of behavior. Aaron Stroutman was given a $25,000 bond last month with conditions that included house arrest at her parents, wearing a GPS monitor, and not being allowed to be in the presence of minors or vulnerable adults. She is due back in court on March 20th. I'm going to keep my eyes on this. I find her so disgusting. And any of these like nurses that you'll hear about, because there was a case overseas of a similar thing, except for these babies were losing their life. Nature Rocks, thank you for being a member for 15 months. Never promise tomorrow. Tell those you love, I love you. And that is so, so true. So true. Preschool Granny, thank you for being a member for 21 months. Awesome place to be. Thank you for being here. And yeah, I want to talk to you guys about some community stuff with somebody who many of you guys might probably know, but we will talk about that right before we go. So, okay. Now I want to talk about this just quickly. So were any of you guys following this little boy, Dane Paulson? Okay. Out of Oregon, who was missing for the past 10 days. He disappeared on March 1st near this river. I remember when I first heard it, just the river gave me this gut feeling. So unfortunately, he was found deceased. So missing 2-year-old Dane Paulson has been found deceased. The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office confirmed Tuesday afternoon. The toddler went missing from his home in Siletz on March 1st, quickly sparking an intense search effort that drew in hundreds of volunteers and continued for the past 10 days. The sheriff's office confirmed that his body had been found in the Siletz River at around 11:13 a.m. Tuesday morning, about 3 miles downstream from the family's home. Investigators with the sheriff's office are currently processing the scene, according to a news release at 2:17 p.m. So they said he was last seen in the yard outside of his parents' site, though. So I'm really curious. 2 is really, really little. This is another one I'll be looking for updates and I'll keep you guys posted. But so his body was found by an independent diver with the Angels Recovery Dive Team, and he had volunteered his services and began searching areas downstream from where the sheriff's office divers had been operating. The sheriff's office said in a statement, "Our thoughts are with the family who are facing an unbearable sorrow. We are deeply grateful for the support and dedication shown by the search teams and our communities throughout this difficult time, though we wish it was under different circumstances." So he was last seen at 4:30 p.m. playing in the yard of his family's house, which is it's only 100 feet from the river. Let me tell you what, I live on the water too, so I know what that's like, and it is so scary when you have little kids, especially little toddlers. I mean, I would think that you would be like super aware of that. And, you know, it depends on what stage in life you are, I suppose, how mature you are, what you're aware of and that kind of thing. But it's just unfortunate. Punksy, thank you for being a member for 36 months. Rest in peace, Claus, in my thoughts and prayers. I'm going to give you guys an update and kind of talk on that after we get through a little bit of like these at the end. So Just hold tight with me for that. So he, 100 feet from the river, his family reported him missing, and local authorities began searching that evening. Multiple agencies joined the effort the following day, bringing in divers, K-9 units, and drones with thermal imaging. The FBI joined the investigation on the third day, along with hundreds of volunteers. Authorities kept the search effort focused on the river, deploying underwater search methods and using boats to cover approximately 14 miles of the river. Since early in the search, the sheriff's office has said there is no evidence of criminal activity in Dane's disappearance. Authorities initially identified a late 1990s station wagon seen in the area, but they did determine on the third day that that wasn't relevant to the investigation. So just know, if you have little kids, you cannot watch them close enough. And if you're near water, anywhere near water, I suggest a fence or something like that. If you even want to take your eyes off of them for a half of a second. It takes no time for an accident to happen. So, okay. So this is an update to something we had talked about. Do you guys remember when I told you about, this is going to piss you off, I'm telling you now, because I'm pissed. And I'm not here to mince my words. I'm actually really pissed about this. This is bullshit. So do you remember when I told you guys, if you come to the True Crime News, about a boy from Indiana who was in foster care, and his foster mom set on him and took his life when he was acting up? I don't even let my 8-year-old grandson by the lake we live on alone. Same, Julie, with mine, and they're the same age, like so careful, so aware that there is water there and they can swim, so I was just reading about this. Hey, Kristen. Yeah, because guess what? She got punished and she got hardly any time. I cannot get over this. I'm pissed about it. So let me just read you the article. So a 10-year-old Indiana boy was crushed to death after his foster mother, who weighed 340 fucking pounds, excuse my language, because honestly, if you don't like the bad language, it's just gonna be the one for you, and probably any true crime news. I should do better and watch my mouth, but I'm so angry over this shit, and I want to speak about it honestly and like from my heart, so I don't. But so just to let you know, 340 pounds. She sat on him for several minutes because he was acting bad. 340 fucking pounds, Kathy, yes. Jennifer Lee Wilson, 48 years old, was sentenced in January to 6 years in prison with 1 year suspended to be served on probation. So 5 years. According to WMAQ, she was charged with reckless homicide in the death of Dakota Levi Stevens. On April 25th, police were called to a home in Valparaiso, Indiana, because the boy was not breathing and turned out to have no pulse, CBS News reported. An officer found bruising on the child's lower neck and chest. Officers attempted to resuscitate the boy, but he was transported to a hospital where he later passed away. Look at old Jennifer. This is her. Jennifer told police that the boy had just ran away from home. She had found him at a neighbor's house and brought him back home. She said he was still, quote, acting bad, unquote, and threw himself on the ground, telling her he was leaving. According to a court filing, Wilson told police that when she attempted to stop him from leaving, she does not know if she tackled him or they fell to the ground. However, her intention was to hold him. She doesn't know if she tackled him or if they fell, but she was just trying to keep him from leaving. That's all. She said she sat on his midsection for 5 minutes. He eventually stopped moving, but she believed he was faking. Hey, dog defender. Are you faking? She asked before she rolled him over and noticed his eyelids were pale. She then began performing CPR and called 911. On April 27th, South Bend Memorial Hospital reported Dakota had passed away. He suffered organ and soft tissue damage, liver and lung hemorrhaging, and other injuries. An autopsy revealed the cause of death as mechanical asphyxia and the manner of death as homicide. No wonder why he was acting up. Ain't that right, Lori? Hate this soul. The neighbor told officers that Dakota ran to her house before the medical emergency and asked her, this is fucking sad, asked her to adopt him because his parents hit him in the face. The neighbor said she did not observe any signs of injury to the boy, and then the neighbor came to take her son back. So were you afraid that everything you had been doing would get out? He ran next door and asked him to adopt him. Is that not sad? He had ran away from home. I'm sorry, I was just going back to what she exactly had said. So he went next door, asked the neighbor to adopt him because his parents hit him in the face, and she came and took him back, and that's when she proceeded to sit on him. He was only 4'10" and 91 pounds. She was only 4'11" and 340 fucking pounds. And that's the end of that. Let me see, because I know I have some more on it. Let me just look if it was right. I just cannot, man. Oh, yeah, the other thing I had was from New York Post, but let me see if I just do the hyperlink. No. Just 1 second, you guys. Here we go. Just a second. I know that there was one of them that I was reading. They were talking about surveillance. Look at him, Dakota Stevens. I mean, can you imagine kids that are in foster care? I mean, they've already been through something, right? That they had to be removed from. That's like one of the things that breaks my heart when you hear about these bad foster homes and shit. It's like, damn, they escape just to go into another hell. Oh, here it says that she said he threw himself on the front line. Well, she said on him calling his caseworker as he screamed and eventually stopped moving, according to documents viewed by Express US. Let me see if I can. Here's another picture of him. Precious. Look at his little pretty little eyes and his little chin. It's freaking sad. According to the court papers, the foster mom claimed he began to misbehave when they returned home, throwing himself on the ground outside. It is alleged she set on him while contacting his caseworker, during which he screamed and eventually ceased moving. Wilson confessed to police that she initially believed the child was pretending. She rolled him over and saw his eyelids again. The Department of Child Services had assigned the child to her care just 1 month prior. 1 month prior. The court affidavit reveals that Wilson appeared visibly distraught when police arrived. By the time they reached the scene, he had stopped breathing and had no pulse. He was airlifted to a nearby facility where he was taken off life support 2 days later. Let me go back to the New York Post for a second. Disturbing Ring camera footage unearthed by authorities reportedly shows a 20-second clip of Wilson sitting on his head and neck as she squeezed the life out of his tiny frame, his desperate screams gradually growing quiet. Once she realized what she had done, she frantically told one of her other kids to call 911. She can be heard in the footage yelling the boy's name repeatedly as she noticed he stopped breathing. And her foster parent license has been suspended but is being reviewed for permanent revocation. Yeah, I would hope so. I'm sorry, but it's just disgusting, you guys. It's so sad. Okay. So now there's one more that I wanted to show you, and then we can take a look at a couple other things quickly. There is not a shortage of missing and murdered people, and especially in children specifically. There are some cases that get talked about, and sometimes they go under the radar completely. There are some people who wish that social media would leave their family the hell alone, and there are some cases I wish they would too. All of them. Just leave them all alone. But there are some families that wish that their family could even get a 2-minute news segment, right, for their loved one. So it's not fair. It's so messed up. I don't understand it. I'll never understand it, but that's why we come and talk about a bunch of them together like this. So dad pleads guilty after daughter dies from jumping on trampoline in the heat as punishment. A Texas father who police said forced his daughter to jump on a trampoline in 110-degree heat as punishment has been convicted of the crime and sentenced to 18 years in prison, prosecutors announced. The girl, his adopted daughter named Jalen, was 8 years old when she died. Daniel Schwartz, 48, of Odessa, pled guilty to manslaughter in the killing of the girl, the DA's office released in a statement on social media. Odessa is a town in Texas, 300 miles from Fort Worth. Guilty plea. Daniel Schwartz sentenced to 18 years for manslaughter. I'm not happy with 18 years, but I'll tell you what, it's a hell of a lot better than 5, I mean. The case dates back to August 29th, 2020. I'm going to read what the police wrote on their post. Well, maybe. According to the statement, law enforcement responded to a medical emergency on August 29th, 2020, involving an 8-year-old girl. Investigators later discovered that Daniel and his wife Ashley had forced their daughter to jump on a trampoline for an extended period without food or water as a form of punishment. The trampoline surface temperature was approximately 110 degrees at the time. Sorry. Okay. "18 years in prison. Why did it? Oh my gosh, what happened to it?" There it is. I don't know what's wrong with me. Last week, he pled guilty to the charge and a judge sentenced him to 18 years in prison. His wife was convicted of capital murder. His wife, Ashley, was convicted of capital murder on May 1st, 2023, and sentenced to life in prison without parole. The outcome is a testament to the hard work and dedication of our prosecutors and the Odessa Police Department in seeking justice, the DA said in a statement. And I had another article. Let me see if I saved it. And then I forgot, I also had a video of this woman who was missing. So you guys heard of the missing college student? Let me get her name. Her name is hard to pronounce. Sudiksha Kanaki. So maybe I'll just play this and we can watch it together. But it's interesting. So she supposedly went out to swim with this guy, and a wave like separated them and kind of knocked them down or under or whatever, was too strong of a wave that came in. And I think her clothes were found up on the beach, but he doesn't go to the hospital or to the hotel for hours. So it doesn't add up. It's interesting. Let me check on you guys in the chat first. I think it's in South Carolina. They're going to say it here. I listened to it earlier. So we'll just let them say it, and I'll be reading you guys in the chat while we listen here. No, she vanished in the Dominican Republic. Why was I thinking that? A University of Pittsburgh student. And now it's a global missing person alert. Interesting. Can y'all hear that? Yeah. Beautiful girl. At 9:55 a.m. Oh, I knew it. I was wondering. I figured that happened, but you guys didn't tell me. There's a delay is why. You guys did tell me as quick as you could. It's just there's a delay. Sometimes StreamYard does that. Okay.
We have new details this morning surrounding the U.S. college student who vanished on spring break in the Dominican Republic. Authorities in the United States are calling on Interpol to issue a worldwide missing person alert, what's called a yellow notice for Sudiksha Kanaki. That request filed by the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office in Virginia. New overnight, Dominican police say that they're expanding their surveys of nearby surveillance cameras and re-interviewing people who are with or may have seen the 20-year-old, including hotel staff. Here's what we know so far. Kanaki was last seen on security cameras headed out to the beach after a night out with friends on Wednesday. Then, early Thursday morning, she was seen with a man who claimed that they were swept up by a wave. It was about 4:50 a.m. He came back to shore, showed up at the hotel hours later, but said he couldn't find her in the water.
Like 5 hours later at 9:55. That's what I paused before, but you guys couldn't hear the video, which is she's very pretty, Justin. I wish, there was a lot more coverage of this.
Investigators have discovered her clothes near the area where she was last seen. Joining me now is News Nation Law and Justice contributor Jennifer Coffendaffer.
Miss Coffendaffer. But I'm guilty just as much. I should have shared her picture earlier today when I saw this on the community tab. But okay, let's listen.
Jennifer, it's always good to have you. Let me just start with this man who says that they were swept up by the wave. I mean, I don't know about you, but if I'm with someone that's really swept up by a wave, I'm not showing up at the hotel hours later. I'm going for help pretty quickly. Does this smell fishy to you?
It smells fishy, and it just doesn't comport, Marky.
Yeah.
When the reports came in that she was swept up by a wave, the big question was, well, who saw her get swept up by the wave, and why didn't they report it imminently? Search crews could have been out there right away. She wasn't reported missing until 4 o'clock, 12 hours almost later.
If you're with someone swimming and they get taken away, swept up by a wave, like if there's no lifeguard, isn't that the very first thing you do is you run to a place with the phone so you can call? I don't know.
And I know he says that he had gotten ill on the beach, fallen asleep there. So I'm interested to see what more he has to say. I know the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office in the United States is asking for this yellow notice, global missing person alert. What's the advantage of doing so? And is that the right move?
Well, this is the right move because we really don't know what happened to her.
Mhm.
Could she have been trafficked? Could she be someplace else? This way, everyone is on notice in terms.
So a yellow notice is a global alert where it says victims of parental abductions, kidnappings, unexplained disappearances can flag people to border officials, help countries share critical info. Bushid, I'm not sure about that. Bushid asked, was he seen sleeping on a beach chair by a beach cam sleeping on the beach chair after passing out drunk? Maybe I missed it, and which is very possible because sometimes I need to watch things a few times to grasp everything. But also, this is just something I happened to click on earlier today and watched it and then stuck it in like this little folder I have to save it. So it's not something I've looked into super in depth or that I've known about for a long time.
Of enforcement units throughout the world as to this girl being missing.
Yeah. I know yesterday there were reports also surfacing that it was a possible drowning. Authorities were throwing that out. Are you buying that, Jennifer?
I'm not buying it
Uh-huh.
right now. The problem is
Neither.
there's no evidence of that. Are we to really believe this stranger, this young man who was escorting her on the beach, and then all of a sudden he passes out in a chair and she's not seen again? It's not lining up, especially when you consider the wave issues. This was not high.
Is it all of a sudden or all the sudden? Because I've heard this multiple times in the last like 2 days, and I always thought it was all of a sudden. I know it's dumb, but I have to know now because she said it that way too. All of a sudden. Y'all, somebody let me know.
high tide. I find the whole thing to have no merit right now.
I know her family has expressed concerns about possible foul play, including kidnapping, human trafficking. How should investigators balance these concerns from her family with this current theory suggesting a possible drowning?
I think, Marky, you have to start with what is most plausible. And what is most plausible, first of all, is that she was with this last man or with this man. That's where she was last seen, Marky. We have to start with him, assume the worst, and then go from there. Again, search efforts have not proven positive, and that is a big negative for this case.
Yeah, the other news.
I was actually listening to Jennifer Coffindaffer the other day regarding Sebastian Rogers. And she said something that was interesting to me. She said that, her style as an investigator is to work the case as if there was foul play, even if there is no evidence of it. And, I don't think that's everyone's style. It's just her style. And I thought that was kind of interesting. I mean, at least you're covering your bases, I guess, but you don't want to be out here accusing people or that are innocent, of course, but I don't know. It's just something I noticed her to say, noticed that she said. Listen, it's been a while since I've been live. I'm not in the swing of things, but I'll get there.
Nugget that really stands out, Jennifer, is the fact that police say her clothes have now been found on this beach bed near the shoreline. If you were there on the ground
Maybe
at the
they were
helm of this
skinny dipping.
investigation, what would that tell you?
That would tell me that either she removed them or somebody removed them. And this whole relationship with this person she was out there with might be much more involved than just a walk on the beach and a swim.
Mhm. And before I let you go, what would you be focused on today? What, 5 days later, as the situation continues to get more dire by the hour?
They really need to be focusing on getting all cameras in and around that area reviewed, and they need to focus on that man who saw them last. He needs.
Now, I will get her flyer and put it on the community tab, and we're going to talk about one more case and then some community issue type stuff. I'll just talk to you guys for a little bit, and then I'm going to let you go. But I'll definitely get the flyer so that it can be shared without having to click into this video and watch this far in. Oh, thank you, Julie with no E. I think it was a freak accident. Why did he wait so long to go to the hotel, though? That's the thing that doesn't add up. Like the clothes on the beach, they were probably skinny dipping. Like that doesn't mean too much to me, but the wait. for me. Okay, so Tennessee man allegedly dumps newborn in trash after getting teen girl pregnant. A Tennessee man faces multiple charges after allegedly impregnating a 16-year-old girl and discarding the newborn in a gas station dumpster following the birth. I'm sorry, but there are so many people who would do anything for a baby. So many places that won't even charge you, as long as you take them somewhere safely. But you know what this is? Somebody who's trying to avoid getting caught for being with this girl in the first place, in my opinion. But Fox 14 Memphis reports that a grand jury indicted 45-year-old James Booth Wednesday on charges of trafficking for commercial sex acts, promoting prostitution involving minors ages 12 to 18, continuous sexual abuse of a child, and aggravated statutory rape. Trigger warning. Sometimes I feel like, should I even say that? Because it's implied with what we're talking about. It might be triggering. But then when those words that everybody acts like you can't say, like, sometimes I worry that may be triggering to one of you guys, and I would never want that. I do get really annoyed that a lot of places won't say things for what they are. But I mean, I think that they're way more lax about taking the money from your video. But even if they do, like, it's still important to talk about things for what they are instead of softening them to something that sounds nice, because none of this stuff should sound nice. But anyway, so Memphis police launched an investigation around 9 a.m. on January 27th after responding to a call in the 3100 block of Teak Rock Lane at the Flairwood Apartments. Officers arrived to find a 16-year-old girl who flagged them down and reported that a man named James had dropped her off after she gave birth about 2 hours earlier. Police later identified the man as Booth. The girl said that Booth was taking her to the hospital while she was in labor when she gave birth to a girl. She claimed Booth removed the newborn from the seat, placed her in a black plastic bag, and threw her in a dumpster behind a gas station located on East Shelby Drive. She also said she had been in a relationship with Booth for 3 years. So since she was 13 and he's 45. Okay. Police arrived at the gas station and located the deceased infant in a bag within the dumpster. Authorities have not revealed the cause of death, but the infant was believed to be deceased at birth. So I didn't realize that, but still, this is still not how you handle that. I mean, so you're 42 years old hooking up with a 13-year-old. She could have, God only knows what could have happened to her. Thank God she went and got somebody, and yeah, she's 16 now. But so Shelby County judge dismissed the abuse of a corpse charge against Booth, citing a lack of prosecution, according to court records. Although the charge was dismissed, he is still in custody and facing 5 other charges. Although the case was dismissed in General Sessions Court, this investigation is not over and Mr. Booth remains in custody. Our office has indicated him on 5 additional charges based on evidence from this case and continues to review the abuse of a corpse allegation for potential indictment along with the additional charges. So this one, I didn't even plan on talking about. I just last minute decided we would. But it's interesting, his charges, because they are trafficking for commercial sex acts, promoting prostitution involving minors aged 12 to 18, continuous sexual abuse of a child. I suppose that could come from having this years-long relationship with her, and aggravated statutory rape as well. But those first 2 charges, I'm really curious about that. Check back for updates, and we will. So that is that. Those are just a few things, couple things you guys had sent to me, an update regarding something else we talked about, and then something else saw last minute and wanted to talk about. I'm always looking to talk about the cases that do fit those themes. Let's just scroll through for just a second and look at like the headlines to see if there's anything else that kind of fits in with that. Oh, wife killer Scott Peterson beat up during game of prison pickleball. Interesting. A lot of people, some people, surprisingly more than you'd think, believe that he was innocent. And I also saw this one last minute, and I considered bringing this up. Maybe we'll talk about it at a later date. Murder charges filed after 5-year-old boy is incinerated in hyperbaric chamber explosion. Apparently I think Drewski is a YouTuber. It says comedian, but also I think a YouTuber, and Odell Beckham Jr. have been indicated in Diddy stuff in another lawsuit filing. I'll pull up that missing woman's. Well, unfortunately, with Crime Online, when we click on it, it won't show her picture. So Bexar County Sheriff is looking for Maria Delis Labrador Siles, and there's her face just for anybody in the area. Watch, if I click it, they're gonna take the take her photo away. For some reason Crime Online does that. It's really annoying. See, we want to see the picture though, and then you click on it and you can't see the picture. It's important when you're looking for a missing person, don't you think, Crime Online? Oh, I did see that the Kansas City Chiefs fans, there were charges in that case. Iowa man charged with murder 2 months after his girlfriend was found deceased in their home. North Dakota man guns down sister and niece because men in ski masks were chasing him. Wendy Williams was taken to the hospital. I saw that. Young Indigenous girl Emily Pike found deceased, dismembered with, oh my God. And we'll take her picture. Let me see if, no. I was going to try to click on the hyperlink to get, there's a picture of her. So the killing of a 14-year-old Arizona girl is reverberating through Indigenous communities nationwide, where a local funeral director is demanding justice. She's a member of the San Carlos Apache tribe. She was reported missing in late January, last seen walking near Phoenix, where investigators found most of her remains, but some have yet to been recovered. She was in a group home when she vanished from the Mesa area. Her former roommate told the media that Pike had a history of running away and that she vanished after wanting to be with a boy she met while taking guitar lessons. Maybe I'll look into this and we'll talk about it more in depth. It says she suffered facial and head trauma. There is not enough coverage of missing and murdered Indigenous people. That, you do hear a little, very little, tiny little bit about missing and murdered Indigenous women. But at one point I was making a video about that, or when we used flyers, it was making the video of Letitia's calls using flyers of missing Indigenous. I was going to look for women, but then I just saw there were so many people of all kinds, men, women, kids, and you don't ever see coverage of it. Now, I did see this earlier. I didn't get to watch it, but Mo, can one of you guys drop her link? She covered this. I know she did, but like I said, I haven't got to see it yet, but it was either today or yesterday. So in a 2016 National Institute of Justice study found that violence has impacted 84% of American Indian and Alaska Native women in their lifetime, including 56% who have experienced sexual violence. According to 12 News, murder, rape, and violent crime affect Native American and Alaska Native communities at higher rates than the national average, which is already high enough. You hear, what is it, like 1 in 3 women have experienced sexual violence. I don't know if that's correct, but 56%, according to the U.S. Department of Indian Affairs. I see a lot of death, but no one sees as much death as our Indigenous people, and we need to shine a light on that, on our missing and murdered Indigenous women and people. The sheriff's office is receiving tips. No person of interest or suspect has been identified, although they have some leads. They have been in contact. So Gila police have been in contact with Mesa police, since that is where she's last at, and also the FBI and BIA, Bureau of Indian Affairs. The family members remembered her as a beautiful, happy young lady. Nothing like this should ever happen to anybody, her aunt said, which is so true. There are so many more of our relatives in our native country who still need justice as well. Anyone with information can call Gila Police at 928-200-2352, the Bureau of Indian Affairs at 505-917-7830, or the San Carlos Apache Tribal Police at 928-475-1755. I'm going to look a little more into this. And maybe we'll talk about it in depth on its own live, but sad. Before we get into what I wanted to talk to you guys about, let me just pull up that woman that was missing. If I can click on her article. Let's see here. Even though it takes her picture again. Maybe if I click this. "28-year-old woman last seen on far west side of Bexar County, Texas, San Antonio. She's 5'5", 122 pounds, brown eyes, and black hair. She's 28 years old. Maria Delis Labrador Sealis. I know I'm probably not saying that correctly at all. She did leave home without her wallet and cell phone. She may have walked to a sports park and frequents St. Anthony Mary Claret Catholic Church on Roft Road. She was last seen Monday night wearing a light blue jacket. So here she is. Yep, 28. Let me double check that, even though I just read it. Yes, 28. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys about something, and I'm sorry to even have to bring you guys like information like this, or have to notify you guys of something like this, but I want to do it because I want to share a link with you. So if you've been here for a while, you might remember, or even if you haven't, somebody that went by the name Sexy Wild Thing McLovin, Papa Babyface Elvis Claus. Well, I know that was out of order. It was Amanda Carroll. She also went by Claus. She also went by that long name, adding more to her name as we went. Always kind of joking in the chat. I keep thinking of that line she would use, "Thrust in my pelvis like Elvis." So let me get her thing. She was found at her home deceased. I don't know what happened to her. So one of her friends that in real life that also one of her friends in real life that knew about me, as really as far as I'll go with that, just to keep their privacy, notified me that she had passed away and she was found at her home, and they didn't know anything, and I hadn't talked to her for several weeks. She hadn't been around for a little bit. So I don't want to use her business, but also I need to tell you enough to share this link. So let me just share with you. Her family's doing a GoFundMe for her expenses. I know that an unexpected loss, sudden death, there is really nothing worse. She was really good to me and tried to be good to my channel and give people memberships, and that couldn't get them. And there was a time when she just gave away way too many, where I asked her multiple times, like, please, you don't have to do that. Like, keep your money. You need it. Very generous. And I feel like it's only right. I want to share this because this is sad. These expenses on her family. And I experienced a sudden death last year. Which has been really incredibly hard for my family to deal. It's just hard. Sudden, unexpected. Any death is hard. When it is sudden, it's just next level, and you're not expecting the expenses and stuff that come along with it. So, sorry, I still cannot talk about that, and it's been over a year. But let me just read to you this. I'm going to share it with you guys. If you want to help, I would appreciate that. I think it would be really awesome. My name is Allie King. I created this GoFundMe to help my best friend Liv Collins and her family cover funeral expenses due to their unexpected loss of their sister. Expenses for the funeral and burial and additional costs for the family are expected to be around $10,000. Please consider helping this family during their tragic loss by donating or sharing. Wait, this has changed a little bit. So earlier it had said, and I'll go ahead. Actually, I think I have a screenshot of it. Yeah, and I don't have my phone, so I can't. Wait, I lied. Yes, I do. Well, not lied. I was mistaken. Oh, thank you guys. I love and appreciate you guys. I'm sorry. I just still have a hard time talking about that. Or this. Any of this is not easy to talk about, but so the link's in the chat, but a boy from Indiana. Whoa. I just want to read what it said earlier. So I created this for my friend. Expenses for her funeral and burial are expected to be between $2,000 and $3,000. The cause of death is still unknown, requiring a licensed biohazard cleanup of her home before anyone can sort through belongings, family photos, or important files. That will cost $8,000 to allow people to safely re-enter the home. We found a wonderful team, but we're struggling to find the funds to pay for such a large unexpected amount. So I cannot imagine how difficult that must be. Sudden death, death is hard enough. Suddenly, unexpected, that adds another layer. And then you have to come up with not just funeral costs, but, another $8,000. That is just heartbreaking to think about. And so I wanted to share the link with you guys, just in case you wanted to help, whatever, because, yeah, I just think it's just what I wanted to do. So that is that. Yeah, I'm really sad to hear. It's really sad. Life is short. And, make sure that you tell your loved ones you love them. You never know. Oh, you're so welcome, Sunday. Hey, duh, Roro. Something is seriously wrong with this world when we can't even afford to die. I'm terrified knowing I can't afford to be cremated. This world is going to shit. I didn't know Claus, but rest in peace. Thank you, Kelly. Oh, I'm so sorry, Harley Quinn. I lost my mom, 2 aunts, and 2 brothers in 2024. So my loss was actually at the end of 2023. I've lost a lot of people I've loved over the years, but this one, again, I just can't even talk about it. And this kind of like just brings me back into all of that a little bit. Like the whole sudden, unexpected factor. And it's just so hard to deal with. And I didn't have a huge, chunk of money I had to pay while grieving. I just can't imagine. So, hey, Katrina. Yes. Anyways, you guys, thank you for being here. Sorry it was so late. Tomorrow night, we will get back to the Casey Anthony thing with Melissa. I'm excited. I enjoyed that so much. Oh, also, this morning I was on Jenn's. Let me drop their links. Lori Vallow had had a hearing this morning. And I was over on Jenn's talking about that. And then on Melissa's, and we're going to finish what we started today on Melissa's tomorrow on my channel. But yeah, I wasn't sure if I wanted to bring that up at all because I feel like some stuff should not be on YouTube. It is not content. So I just want to make that clear. That was kind of my thing. I don't know. I struggle with that a little bit. But it's not content. It's just, I think that I just wanted to share the link. So I just want to keep it like as brief as I can out of respect and, like privacy and care and concern and that kind of thing. But I just want to say that is why I kind of wanted to wrap that up. But anyways, tomorrow we'll be back at it, and I look forward to that. Wow, that was starting to get really intense between Casey and that investigator, and I've never heard that before. So we will get back at that tomorrow night. Thank you guys for being here. Oh, thank you, Coffee and Skeletons. Thank all you guys for listening to me, for being here, for supporting my channel, for supporting me, for everything, all the ups and the downs and the good and the bad and everything. I just appreciate you guys, and I hope you know that so much. I really do. And yeah, I'm going to let you guys know. I hope I didn't even finish my thought, maybe, Harley. Maybe I did, but I am so sorry as well. And that's what I was going to say. I started to say, my loss was actually at the end of 2023, but that has been just so devastating. I cannot imagine that many people at once, like all in 1 year. So I'm so sorry. See, I was completely just thrown off, and I apologize, you guys. But the important thing is getting that link out there, having the conversation with you. So I'm glad that we did. And yeah, thank you guys for being here. Nightbot is still not working. Oh, I appreciate you guys. I don't know what's going on with it. I'll figure it out, but it's okay. I hope Harley's still here. Oh, I appreciate and love you guys. Thank you. Hey, Corey. Harley, I am so sorry. Mid-thought, I lost my train of thought and didn't finish that, and I hope you get to hear it. Hey, Angie. I don't want to leave, though. There you are. I know, me too. But we have so much to do tomorrow, and yeah. If you missed, though, this morning, Lori, it wasn't at the lot, and at the end, I got a phone call, so I didn't get to see like the last few minutes. But her trial is quickly approaching. Stephen Stern's trial is quickly approaching. eventually we'll get Coburger. There's just a lot to talk about in the future. So I know I'll see you guys again and quick, definitely tomorrow. But so I'm going to let you go. Thank you for being here. I'll go for 30 more minutes, Roro, probably, because I've missed you guys. I'm really trying to end it, but it might take me a little while. But no, thank you for listening to me. And I know sometimes it might be hard to follow what I'm saying, especially tonight. So I apologize. I hope you at least followed most of it. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon. Sweet dreams. Bye.